Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everyone, and welcome in to the OSCA Series 2024A season where we are taking on the Bite-Size Sports 100 at the track Too Tough to Tame. That's right, we're hitting Darlington Raceway this week where things are going to get exciting. Getting ready to get qualifying underway here. Trevor McNeil alongside, of course, Vic Bloom and Carlos Acosta in the booth up here today. Flying solo out of this one for as much as we can, but as you see, clear weather, clear skies, but this track is not going to be clear for very long. Last year, had a lot of chaos very early on in the race, and now as we get into the qualifying at this point, excited to see where these guys are going to start out in this one. And at the very least, I'll open it up to Carlos, from being around here, knowing this one. What are you expecting? Are we going to see as much action, as much turmoil as we did last year?
I think excuse me, guys. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of drivers try to push the vehicle up to the very edge, up to the limits, and possibly, more than likely, we will see them push it beyond it. This is a very tricky track for a lot of these drivers to handle, especially with this car. And it's going to be slick out there. It's pretty hot out there now, and if I remember correctly, we have a night race after this, which should see us having two different forms of racing here at this tricky track.
Yeah, it's going to be...
Both will be night.
Ooh, double nighttime. Okay, so at least cooler temps a little bit there for a little more grip potentially, but very interesting because of the fact of obviously with Darlington having the two different bankings, the two different size of corners. The drivers who are going to be the ones ambitious enough to run along this very high wall, see who's going to be brave enough to make the passes on the high side and earn their Darlington stripes, if you will. It's going to be very tricky for them with lap time starting to get put up. Obviously, you see 20 laps, 10 minutes of qualifications that we're going to be going out of this one. Handful of drivers that did participate in the last one to keep an eye on. Of course, Rich had a very good showing last year, ran top 5 pretty much for the entirety of the race. Ty McIntosh, very unlucky that he had a couple of bad finishes because of the wrecks early on in this one, but we'll be coming back in this one in that 95 car. But Cameron Rich is going to be the story to watch here for the duration of this one. Had a couple of great runs, had a great outside lane pass in turns 3 and 4 where he excelled last season to eventually give him the lead and would give him that have-to finish in first place. The biggest difference between last year and this one, though, is going to be the length of the race. Last time around, 78 laps and a half. This time, though, we're cutting it short. Only 37 laps, so no concerns about fuel. It's all about those tires today.
Yeah, we got some bite-size racing here for the Bite-Size Sports 100 here tonight, and yeah, no concern about fuel, but the question is, can they make it the rest of the way with the tires? I have a feeling that if we do have a full green flag run, which we possibly could, the majority of the guys are going to be killing their tires. Going to be seeing a lot of drivers fading towards the back. The question is, could that happen? But also, when do they pit if a caution does come out? Are the tires going to be that bad that they have to pit every 5 laps? Or can they realistically try to hold on and maybe hope for a last-minute caution?
Yeah, pit strategy last year really did make a huge difference, especially in that second half. Had a significant extended green flag run where the pit strategy eventually did come in, where only 10 cars finished on the lead lap there. Of course, as I said, it was over 70 laps that they did run in that one, so a little bit different as far as what the strategies were on that approach versus what this one's going to be. So it's apples to oranges realistically at that point, but still looking for these guys as to who's going to brave the tires, who's going to be taking quicks, maybe only right sides if you are in a position where you can, and try to fight for that position, run on 2 tires versus running on no tires. And very excited to see the strategies coming into play here. And I see you bouncing around before the race in between all the different voice channels of all the drivers and the teams. Are you getting valuable information out of that one? Are you getting that inside information, insider trading?
You talking about me?
Yeah, you.
I'm not bouncing around channels. I'm in my team's channel talking to my drivers.
Okay, all right.
But I mean, I do get some insider information, of course. I know how my drivers are how their mindset is going into this racetrack, and I got 3 different drivers, and I have 3 different mindsets. I'm not really going to go into too details much about it, but it's mostly one's not happy to be here, another one is being very open-minded, and the third one kind of keeps to themselves. So I don't fully know what their mindset is, but I know they're focusing on the race themselves.
No, we should focus on on making the picks.
Yeah, and speaking of picks, I do have a graphic for how we're doing tonight, fellas, and that's the wrong graphic. That's also the wrong graphic.
We'll get to that.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Vic, you're stretching that lead a little bit. You have 13 points on the drivers, and then there's Goody, then Cherry, then me, and then Matt and Trevor.
You know, all things considered, I'll take 59 points. I did the one pick, but I compared my points earned that I had in the single race compared to what everybody else did in their single race of the first race of the season. And if I had done that well, I'd be sitting in first place right now because nobody got 59 points in a single race, to my knowledge, at this point yet. So I'm feeling pretty confident, and I'm feeling pretty good about where I am currently. And I think that you guys giving me the first pick is, you know, I'm sorry I had to do it to you. There's a lot obviously going on this qualification as to looking at these lap times and stuff, but I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to stick with the research I had, and I want to take the 17. I want Mr. Rich in this race for the first half.
That's fair. It should be his 2024 A season debut. Running a part-time schedule this season, hasn't had a chance to run any of the races yet, so we're looking to see if we can bring his previous success into this track here for this season.
All right, Carlos, you're up next then.
No, I'm not. Matt is.
No.
Oh, Matt's not here. That's right. Yeah. So I am next.
Here, bud.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Listen, it has not been the best season. No, nobody can say anything. It's not been a good start of the season for me. But while I may have struggled in the start, I feel like I'm going to be saving some really good picks for the later. However, I have a feeling that this one will go down to the 19 of Austin Beers. That's where I'm putting my money down.
Okay.
Man, that is actually really good pick. If I could make that pick, I would. So Goody sent me his picks, and he's gonna go for half one. He's gonna go for the 57. Half one.
That's smart.
That's who he wants. It's a very smart pick.
Yeah.
And the drivers, for some reason, the drivers have decided that for half one, they want, for some reason, to go with the 21. I'm not really sure why. But that could be a pick.
Listen, he's 5th right now.
He is 5th right now. I think I'm going to go for a pick that it's going to be less than bold, but it's going to be bold in the sense that I wouldn't normally make this pick here. I am going to go with the 99 of Gilberto. I just got a feeling. I don't know what it is.
I like that.
I had that feeling recently.
Was it heartburn?
I don't want to talk about it. Anyway, speaking of, so those are all the dash one picks. Remember, these are 2 dash races, the first of the season. We've had a sprint and a feature, and then we also have the halves, and we have dashes for this week. Now take a look at the point standings. I actually can't read it from this side, so I need somebody to talk to me about it.
Ty McIntosh is moved into first place. I think going into last week, we had Neil Rutt was sitting first, but had a pretty rough break there at Suzuka. But Ty McIntosh taking over. He's going to be wearing that red stripe on the windshield. 3 points up on Austin Beers, who already talked about looking to do a pretty good job here today, sitting second place, just barely behind and out of the pole position. Tynan Jones, even with a couple of spins last week, in third place. Vincent and Isabella, point back. Dylan Thomas, Neil Rutt, both at 151. Aaron Stopp, 149. And then you start to see a little bit of a gap open up. Ray Bracey with 139. Capuano, 136, tied with Scarborough. Drew Eisman, 135. Garcia, 134, who's actually tied with Caden Tufts right there on the outside looking in. But then you still have, within striking distance, Dave Carpenter, Tristan Millette, Matt Hackathorn, Roberto Javier Gomera, Zach Evans, Kyle Carson, and Ryan Gavel round out the top 20 there. So those guys in red looking for a little bit of improvement here in this one on a tricky track. The lady in black. And see if they got it in them here this week as qualifying is getting ready to come to a conclusion. Garcia looks like trying to hold on to the pole. The last few seconds ticking down, and it might be just that. And if Garcia's starting out front after what happened last week, it's got to be a prime position for him to be in.
Yep, well said. But now with that, qualifying will come to an end. We're going to go ahead and take a look at tonight's grid. And cue it up as soon as the session crosses on over, and I believe it has.
Oh, wow. That was even less than 0.01. Austin Beers, 0.008 off the pole, where Richard Garcia will take that one. Starting third, David Westergreen had a little bit of conversation in the Discord earlier this week about being a potential early favorite for the drivers in this one. Might try to have a good positioning at the end of this. Ryan Gavel going to be starting right there alongside him. Thomas Capuano, Ty McIntosh, Ray Bracey, Javier Gomera, Drew Eisenman, Darren Stopp, Vincent Isabella, Dylan Thomas, Caden Tufts, Tristan Millette, Dave Carpenter starting in 15th, Dustin Dewar, 16th, Kynan Jones, 17th, and Adam Tepe in 18th place right there. Curious to see where these guys are going to start making their moves. You see them lining up, double file, flipping down to page number 2. You see James Watson, another one of those sleepers who consistently does very well in the long runs. Alex Kitten right behind. Jake Scarborough, Neil Rutt, Kyle Carlson, Alice Myhand, Tim Conrad, Adam Peeler, 26, Cameron Rich in 27th. My pick way down there, no time on the qualifying, as well as Rashid Coles joined there with no time put in for the qualifying. We'll be starting end of the line, and curious to see where these moves are going to be made, and I'm just hoping that Cameron Rich is actually here, because if I make a pick where there's no one here, do I get a redo? Do I get a redraft?
I think you do.
Well, I hope so. Just in case, I have a pull up my spreadsheet, and I got to give credit. Gilberto was a great choice. That was my number 2 pick. If I didn't get first draft choice, so shout out. I think it was Vic that took that one, but that's a good one.
Vic? Oh, Vic's probably talking.
Yeah, Vic's definitely right now probably doing pre-race meetings right here, but going through these early laps, as you mentioned, with some of these tires might be a little loose because of the temperatures on the track, of course. The biggest challenge here for these drivers, especially starting double file, is who's going to be taking the inside and the outside. Obviously, a lot of the guys trying to run the outside line. Darlington notorious for that Darlington stripe, where we're going to see a lot of paint being exchanged between cars and the track side, especially if these tires are getting warm, getting loose. It's going to be a matter of who's going to start out with their cars under control.
Excuse me, I'm trying to get something figured out here, so apologies for the silence on my end.
No worries, just watching and admiring these beautiful paint schemes as they make their laps around, warming up. Going one by one, 2 by 2 across the board. Still holding on, looks like lights are off. Be going green here momentarily. You mentioned double dash out of this one, not the Mario Kart double dash, but 37 laps apiece for 2 halves. Looking at a 15-car invert at the conclusion of half number 1. If I can do math correctly, 29 cars that have entered into this one. And don't ask me to do math. We made the conversation last week. I could not be a weatherman because I tried to do math, and, well, that's it. Math is not in my field of expertise by any means. Counting to 4 is about the best I can do.
Who did you pick again?
I took Cameron Rich.
Okay, so he is racing. He is there. So
He is, yeah. Just did not post a time there for qualifying. So starting there at the back of the pack. Pace truck is away. Cars are rolling around the corner, and we are getting ready to get set and go here in the Bite Size Sports 100. Darlington Raceway is here, and we are under green flag, ready to go. Drivers are off. Pretty decent start on both sides. A little bit of a wheel spin there on the bottom lane where the top side's going to try to get and break away. As you see, they start to file in single file now with Austin Beers taking away the lead in this one. We'll be leading them down the backstretch going into turn number 3. Holding on this one. See a little bit of variation here on the lanes. Trying to get a little bit more air on the nose potentially, but single file for the first 8 cars before you start to open up just a little bit, but pretty much the repetition out of last year's second half, where as soon as things started to open up, these cars got single file. We went for an extended green flag run. As you see them come down, already earning our Darlington stripes there in the back. Cars in the wall, getting loose out of turn number 2. Biggest challenge here at Darlington Raceway, of course, is conquering both of those turns, 1 and 2 versus 3 and 4. 2 different angles of banking, 2 different lengths around the sides as to how much speed you can carry in. You cannot get complacent. You can't run the same angle, same runs that you have going into one corner versus the other. So very challenging for the drivers here. Have to completely remain focused, as well as knowing where the drivers are around you. Left side, right side, looking at your peripherals for those that are doubled up. Got to be able to know if there's a car on one side or the other, but with it being single file the way it is, it's just a matter of these drivers running their race, doing the best that they can to stay off that wall, keep these tires fresh. Here's clearly favoring this high line. Opened up quarter to a third of a second here on the lead over Richard Garcia. There's Ryan Gabble right there in the back, and those are 3 guys that we saw last week racing for top 5 positioning. It seems like we'll have something very similar to that one again this week. You see Ray Bracey there in the middle of the pack before you start to see a little bit of a break where the intervals start to open up just a little bit more outside of that top 10. Out of these guys trying to stay open, stay up, and that is where we saw a lot of the disparity last year in the 2023 B OSCA race, where there was this extended green flag run, very significant opening of the field where everybody started to really spread out across the entirety of the track. That's probably going to be a repeat of what we have here, so long as we don't have anything crazy where these cars getting into the wall. You see how close they are getting coming out of the corners. Just trying to save this one, to keep it off there, minimize their damage as much as they can. Running order there up at the top, looking for their best laps. 29.528 there for Ryan Gabble, has been the fastest car to this point. Everybody else running 29.6s and 7s here. Clearly, these first 3 cars have found something to work for them. For the cars that are running a little bit faster in the middle of the pack, you see Tufts there, 29.6, surrounded by a bunch of 29.7s. Got to find a way to maneuver through the traffic at that point. But safe and single file through this one. Garcia's closed the gap a little bit here on Beers. He's running, as mentioned, a little bit faster. He's going to become within 1/10 of a second. Has found a line starting to work and is right up on the back bumper now. Austin Beers trying to challenge for the lead. He's going to go low into the corner, but can't find enough out of this one. See if he can get on the quarter panel coming out. Cannot do so. We'll have to wait for another run to come out of this one, but is certainly on the door and knocking. Lost a little bit there on the front side. Trying to find that momentum to come back around. It seems like these are the corners that you're gonna find it. I was getting a little squirrely here, 3-wide TV multicam. You see on the top side, I was trying to make some moves as well. Just out of my own curiosity, with the intrusive thoughts taking over, is Mountain Dew Code Red the best Mountain Dew?
Baja Blast.
That, can you, well, I can't argue that. That's, since they actually started producing it and selling it wholesale, yeah, Baja Blast has probably got to take the spot. But when it was only exclusively available at Taco Bell, I don't think it would count for the vote because it's clearly superior. But, yeah, I'll give you that one. Code Red's got to be second, though. The true gamer fuel.
Do they have one called High Voltage or something?
There is, yeah, High Voltage. I think that's like a blue one, light blue probably, something like that. I think that's right. That sounds right. I know Livewire. Livewire's another good one. It's the orange one. That's got to be top 3 for sure. But I could talk about Mountain Dew all day. I'm more of a Dr. Pepper girly myself, but Mountain Dew's pretty good. Austin Beers has managed so far to hold off Richard Garcia, still holding constant at this 1/10 of a second on that back bumper, but has not let that pass happen. See him working through the field. It is about the disparity between a lot of these cars. 0.1 to 0.2 seconds, a few car lengths in between. Nobody feeling too antsy as of this point. See, a pass here is going to be made, trying to be made on the inside. Does get door bumper and clear coming out of the corner. Is Cameron Rich making that pass? I'm feeling a little bit better about that one, making that pass look easy. Trying to make up some ground after starting with no time posted on qualification. Had a pretty solid run here last year. I believe a second place and a first place finish in the two halves. We had that one. You got the 15 riding the wall out there as well.
No.
There's the Darlington stripes that you're getting earned. And that is dumping all of your momentum. And that's going to be quite the upset paints crew right there. Watching that one go through. Now it's going to be rolling down the pits.
Yeah, Dallas Myhan has had pretty much a miserable start to the season. It looks like it is not getting any better.
Which is very unfortunate because I even had Dallas Myhan on my list, like my fifth pick. If I somehow fell to my fifth pick, Dallas Myhan was the one that was on there. So unfortunate break there, riding the wall on this one to lose that and going into the pits there. But still looking for some action here on the top side. Richard Garcia still trying to duck down and make this one. Now trying to maybe ride this high side, find a little momentum up on the top of the wall, but still cannot find the lane to make this pass. See that Ison Designs Repsol Ford Mustang right in the back bumper, and you look at the intervals, pretty much locked up together here. Is giving Gavel a little bit of a chance to at least close the gap. You see the lap times as well. Very minimal difference between A, B, and C, but these three up here running 1, 2, 3 have made quite the gap across a second and a half on that fourth place car. But as long as Garcia's been taking to try to make this pass on Beers, just like we saw last week, Ryan Gavel right here now on the back bumper of the 57, we could potentially try to find an angle to pass as well.
Excuse me, I'm having some issues here.
Just going to run away. One of those two things is going to happen. They're going to make these passes, or these three are just going to continue to pull away from the pack. See lap time starting to slow down now as we got 21 to go. Now finally looking on the inside, trying to find an angle on this to get a little enough momentum rolling through. Getting really squirrely up there. Lap time slowing down. Tires getting away from you. And now all of a sudden we are side by side on the quarter panel trying to make it into the door. Into the bumper on the front side. But he was able to pull back away from that one. Garcia had to check out going into that corner.
Yeah, Trevor, we saw there the 19 hit the outside wall and the exit of 3 and 4 that time. Thankfully, because of the nature of the track, he was actually able to hold on against, excuse me, that's like Garcia, I meant Beers. But he was able to hold off against Garcia and Gavel, and it looked like he pulled away a little bit in turns 1 and 2. So with 20 laps to go, 19 laps to go this time by, the tires are starting to show their wear.
Yeah, starting to get to that point. That's where the conversation came in. We're not going to worry about fuel at all. We're going to see these drivers and who's going to be able to control their tires and the tire wear that they have. And that's going to be the only sort of implication we have for these pit stops. Looking for, you see now last laps into the 31s at this point. So certainly losing the speed, losing the grip on them, having to go a little bit slower and pay a little respect to this track. That's why it is too tough to tame. This track is in complete control of you, and you are at the mercy of the lady in black here. And that is what these drivers are having to fight against. Trying to stay off these walls. They still continue to open up this lead. These top three over Ty McIntosh there in fourth place, which is right behind. 3 more cars on the back bumper starting to close up in this Western Green there as well. Sitting in 5th place. Trying to find their angle to see these 4 all up together. Finally going to be making a pass.
Yeah, this is
fanning out a little bit.
Yeah, this is currently a battle for, I believe, 11th place, 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th, all side by side against each other right now. Oh, a little bit of contact, and yep, there's going to be a turn. Oh, no.
Right back down.
No, caution is out.
Caution is out. Caden Tufts, they're losing the front end of that one. Completely lost that front bumper.
Oh,
Trying
no,
to
Cameron
make the
Rich.
save, and that is Cameron Rich, unfortunately, who just gets tagged, caught up in the traffic. And hopefully damage minimal there on that one. Had made some great moves. We saw starting end of the line back there in 28th, 29th place. So at the start was up there, as you mentioned, fighting between 11, 12, 13, 14. And we check a replay here to see exactly what happened. We see 00 in the 8 getting around. 8 got a little loose coming off of it. Unfortunately, just hit the quarter panel. Cameron Rich, the innocent bystander, gets tagged. It's like minimal contact with that outside wall potentially, so at the very least, going to be very fortunate for Rich it wasn't worse. Oh yeah, is he just trying on the wheel, trying to save it, trying to keep that thing straight. It was a pretty good job there, all things considered, to make sure you stay off the wall, but with that caution coming out, of course, now all these drivers realizing these tires are going, trying to find their way down. Wondering if this is going to be anything for these guys, to who's going to be coming in, looking for what they're going to be taking, how long these pit stops are going to be, and where we're going to see these resets here. Cars going up, tires getting changed. Race off pit road looks like. Still, you got those front two out. 57 and the 19, Garcia and Beers in position. They'll be maintaining the front row, assuming that there wasn't anybody that didn't pit on the backside.
Not quite sure
15 to
what
go.
is going on. I'm having a bit of a tech issue. Okay, no, it's working fine. Oh, I see what happened. I see what happened. No, we're all good. I thought I had an issue.
Yep.
It's all good.
All gravy. Now looking for the lineup on the restart.
But before that, I do want to go on board with Cameron Rich and see from his point of view how that wreck looked. Because we were looking on board with the 00 kid and Tubbs. We didn't go on board with Cameron Rich. Go ahead and do that now.
And Cameron Rich, as we mentioned, just driving down this one and out of nowhere just gets tagged out of this. Coming around, you see the 4 fighting up there, 11, 12, 13, 14 fighting for position. The 8 got loose, 00. Drove it low, tried to get through, and unfortunate on the wrap around. Just gets tagged. Like a little bit of contact there with the outside wall, but able to manage to stay off everything else. Did not running anything else. Wrong place, wrong time for Cameron Rich. Very unfortunate, but fortunate enough to have minimal damage out of this one. Looking right in front. So a little bit of contact coming out of that corner. And that was just enough to get that 8 loose. Caden Tufts went around.
All right, well, we've run pretty much half of the race already. Let's see. Actually, is that half the race? Almost half of the race, I believe.
Yeah.
Where's
13, 28. Oh my God.
Everything is breaking right now, so I apologize, guys.
Oh, good.
By the way, we're over halfway.
Yeah, we're over halfway. Sorry. Usually everything is working, but everything is breaking today, and I don't have like half my information with me. So now I look like how I actually act. I'm normally confused and lost and all alone. But yeah, 13 laps to go here. It's going to be a sprint. Everybody's going to be going all out for these 13 laps. Trevor, who do you have right now looking?
I mean, you still got to keep eyes on these front 2 cars right now. Rich Garcia, Austin Beers, who have been in control of this one. That 1 car, Ryan Gabble, right behind. But now with Westergreen up in position, seeing significant advancement from David Westergreen here. Trying to keep this pack together, trying to keep up with these front 3 cars. This is a position where Westergreen could really cement himself as one of the front runners, as one of the favorites for this race. And race truck is off. Coming out of 4 around the start finish. And we are going green, back underway here after our first caution, and all of a sudden, immediately, Richard Garcia will jump out to a significant lead. Ryan Gabble going to be trying to tag along and follow up with that one before Austin Beers.
Oh, whoa.
Huge restart. Gavel, hello.
Oh, in the back.
We got action in the back. 2 cars spinning. That is 96. And is that Kate?
I think this is 0. Yeah, I think this is 0-0 again. Caution is back out. And we are going to re-rack them with possibly 9 or 8 laps to go.
Wow.
Caden Tubbs and Adam Tepe each got meatball flags. Their race, their -1 is pretty much done.
Yeah, very unfortunate out of this one. Check them coming around, and that is us just going up high. Unfortunately, tags there, the 96 of Adam Tepe. And both of them get sent to the inner wall. That is unfortunate. Again, wrong place, wrong time. Tubbs collecting a second victim out of this one. Driving up in the corner, just does lose that one a little bit too much. Makes contact, takes them both, and fortunate nobody else behind was there to be collected in that one as well. The action up in front of them. Gavel getting loose out of the first one, and then you see, yeah, alongside Adam Tempe right there, who's probably already distracted by the fact that you see that red 1 car starting to go sideways coming out of the corner, and now you're starting to get nervous as to what's happening in front of you. Little do you know, taking the ride along with Ryan Gavel, who starts to get ones alongside. Then they all start wrecking behind.
Yeah, I don't want to put this caution out on Gavel in any way or form. I have a feeling that probably would have happened even if Gavel didn't get loose. There's probably a bit of a checkup from some drivers, but I do think the majority of them were expecting Gavel to possibly either save it or spin out into the inside to actually not cause a full course caution. Unfortunately, the caution did come out, but that was for an issue behind them.
Yeah, as you mentioned, probably some checkups there in the middle of the pack, but nothing that really would have led to the events that did to bring out our second caution here in the first half. We get a couple more laps around. We'll see these drivers as to where we line it up, re-racked here for another green flag drop in the closing laps here of this first half sprint. Size Sport 100 coming to the first half of a close. Shouldn't expect to see a whole lot of fuel problems for these guys. Curious if any of them are actually doing anything on the side of saving in case we do have some sort of green-white checker situation come up, but
I think at this point, what they have is what they have.
Yeah. I think the fuel window's outside of a 37 lap.
Yep, 1 to green. Garcia on the inside, Beers on the outside, Wester Green, McIntosh, Capuano, Bracey, Staff, Gavel, Eisenman, and Millette.
Top 10 right there. Isabella, Gilberto, Pine and Jones, Scarborough, and Watson rounded out your top 15 here. We saw a huge jump there off that last restart by Garcia. Looking for a repeat on this to try to pull away as we come with 8 laps to go here in this first half. Coming down the back stretch. Wondering if that is going to be some more tire spin we see on the outside, but Wester Green now poised here. If you can stick to the back bumper of this 57, you know it's fast. And pull you right alongside it into second place and be poised for a strike to take away this win. Pace truck is off. Coming through and around turn 4. Approach the restart zone. Green flag is in the air. We start to go once again. Garcia gets a huge jump on this one. Is able to clear and jump up to the outside lane. Austin Beers just could not get to it. Left David Westergreen there in the dust, who will fall back to 4th place and gonna have to tuck in line there.
Oh!
See, starting to get single file. Little squirrely there. Aaron, stop. Almost had a run in with the law. You fight the law and the law wins every single time. I promise you. Write a song about it.
And there's also a song where you fought the law and you won.
Sometimes.
Darren Staff hitting the outside wall, and then Gavel also hitting the outside wall on the exit of the corner, and then hitting it, just barely tapping it, little scrape entering the corner at the end of the backstretch, and Gavel got a great run on the exit of the corner to the inside of Darren Staff here for this 6th place position.
And Thomas Capuano lost a few positions there, lost a ton of momentum, and they dropped back there into that number 8 spot. trying to hold on to this one. Try to keep up with this crew right in front. Aaron Stop is one of that, but look at the leaders here who have opened up almost an entire second on that third place car of Ty McIntosh. Western Green trying to maintain the back bumper on Ty McIntosh as well. As I mentioned before the race started, Ty McIntosh was a victim of a couple of early wrecks in both halves of the 2023B race here, and is certainly making quite the comeback story out of this one, running in P3 right now, trying to hold on to that one coming out of this one. And Capuano, after losing that momentum, is now making the pass. Darren Stopp is going to be dropping back into 8th place and now leading the way of these 5-6 cars.
Yeah, Darren Staff has been struggling a little bit here on this last green flag run, losing a couple spots early on. You don't really have that much laps to kind of wait for the car to come around, so he's got to give it the best he can right now.
Pretty similar to last week, where a lot of cars between 5th and 10th place here fighting for position. The on board here with Darren Stopp. Moved up a couple spots here. Still running 30-second laps here. Eisman right there on that back bumper. Trying to give a little nudge, a little push, get these cars moving a little bit faster, but cannot quite close this gap there on Thomas Capuano after that pass was made. Cap trying to run down.
Oh my goodness!
We got trouble on
Caution
the
is out
here. Caution's out. We're gonna hit a green-white checker. That's Kynan Jones. One of the cars collected. That's unfortunate on that front. The other one being Kyle Carson there. We'll have to take a look at the replay to see what happened between those two as they got tangled up together on that front stretch. Ooh, wasn't even Kynan. Kynan just, again, wrong place, wrong time. Another car gets wrapped up in this one as see two cars getting loose.
It's a 71.
That's heartbreak hotel there for Kynan, who was trying to make better position after had a couple of unfortunate spins last week at Suzuka.
All right, pit road should be open. I don't expect to see these fellers going down pit road, but just in case, let's get the cameras on ready with them. Just in case they do decide to go down. I don't think so. And if they don't, then we'll go back to looking at the replays there. Yeah, it looks like everybody is staying out right now. Yep. The only people I would expect to go down pit road were the people involved in a caution, or somebody who's like, I don't know, Alex Kenton or David Carpenter, where they're kind of essentially last on the lead lap, so it really doesn't hurt them to go down pit road.
See a couple going down, as you mentioned, ones that involved in that. Be Kenton, Carpenter right there as well. Yeah, take another look at these replays. Coming out of turn number 4. But yeah, the 71-18 got together a little bit. Got the 18 loose, who unfortunately just went up to collect Kynan Jones in this one as well. So unfortunate for Kynan. Wrong place, wrong time there on the outside of a 3-wide position right there. Yeah, that's what I talked about there. You got to be aware of the peripherals, is where who is where going around you, especially going in and out of these corners. It's already hard enough to do just single file to not get into the wall, but all of a sudden you get 3 wide like that. Think you're clear to slide up behind a car, tag the bumper, tag the quarter panel, and the rest is history.
Go on board Kynan and see what he experienced there. Excuse me, that's the wrong person. There we go.
71 right there. There's Kynan here running the high side, and all of a sudden you think you're fine. You're almost coming up on the start-finish line, not even really aware of what's going on unless you have something on that side view where you can see these cars spinning behind you. At that point, you just brace and hold on and hope for the best, but very unlucky break there for Kynan Jones. Get tangled up into that one.
We still have one more lap. Let's see if we can bring up one driver out here tonight. Let's go ahead and bring up Austin Beers from Do Good. Well, he's in the Do Good chat, but Austin Beers, does Carlos Acosta get a copy?
I got ya.
So you're second. You're second going into what could potentially be the last restart of the race. What you got for us?
I don't know. I was catching him there. It's tough one lap after a restart because the leader has such an advantage. So we'll see. I need a better restart here, or else it's over. He's ran good all race. We'll see what happens. But I think it's going to come down to if we're side by side in a 1 on the white flag, who's going to lift, and I think everybody knows I won't, so we'll see how it goes.
Do you think you have Richard Garcia kind of figured out on his restarts?
No, he switched it up pretty well these last 2 times, so I think I know what he might do, so we'll see what happens.
Trevor, got anything you want to ask him?
No, I'm just curious to see how this action goes coming off this restart. Restart's been the name of the game. Just got to keep it straight, keep the nose in line.
All right. Thank you so much, Austin. Wish you the best of luck.
Yep, thanks, guys.
All right, sending him back down. So that was the second place driver, Austin Beers. Looks like he thinks he has an idea as to what Richard Garcia in Eisentech Enterprises and the Eisentech Enterprise machine is going to do, but he is not fully sure quite yet. Boy, all my graphics appear to be crashing right now. I am really upset.
Just when you think you got it all figured out, something's going to go awry. And
Oh
that's
boy,
probably
nothing is
right
working.
about where. Oh, great. That's even better.
Well, let me tell you what. This is why you have points of redundancy.
Exactly. Double redundant system. Everything's going to work eventually.
No, not today.
And we'll look at coming up on this last restart. As you mentioned, Austin Beers on the outside here of Richard Garcia, who we've seen the last 2 restarts bolt away, getting a couple of tenths here on the rest of the pack, at least. Looking for a P2. This is going to be truck pulling off as we come around here for the green-white checker out of the first half. Western Green still poised to strike there in P4 on that outside lane, hoping that Beers gets the restart that we're looking for. Once again, green flag is off. Garcia is going to clear one more time. Pulling into turn 1 up on the outside. Is going to be in position. Holding this one. A lot more cars, double file, about 5 cars back. See if anyone's going to be doing okay coming out of the first corner. And nothing too crazy just yet, but turn 3, turn 4, the front stretch is where a lot of the action has happened. Here's trying to close this gap coming up onto Garcia. We know these tires are getting away from him, but white flag is in the air. Garcia will take that one. Going into turn number 1, Beers is trying to find a line, get back to that back bumper, but right now Garcia in complete control of the position. There's getting a little bit of a
in the wall
corner, but we'll lose all of that one in the wall coming out of 2. We got a little more action going on in the back. 21 coming back up into traffic. Careful there. Hello. That's Capuano getting ready to go around. And we'll lose all kinds of positioning, but with the checkers waving, that is going to be Richard Garcia taking the first half. Beers could not run him down. Unfortunate break for Capuano, who almost went sideways. And Garcia figured it out, got these restarts, and is going to be the one that takes this one away, and we'll be starting in P15 going into the second half, but you got to feel pretty good about that one.
Yeah, that was a fantastic drive by Garcia. Congratulations on him winning dash number 1. Neil Rutt, telemetry's all out of whack again.
Everything going crazy, just like we would expect at Darlington Raceway, where nothing will be sane at all. As we've seen from the restarts, as we've seen from these cars trying to run double file through these corners. But Garcia running away with this one after such a good performance last week in Suzuka as well. Saw Ryan Gabble up there as in decent positioning. Thomas Capuano, one of the picks, I believe the driver's pick that had out of this early, who unfortunately went sideways after making a pretty solid run. Even Western Green could never make up that ground to get into position to be able to strike at that. A lot of conversation, as I mentioned in the chat, about David Western Green potentially having the position and the car to be able to make a good run in this one. And running up top 5, it's got to feel good for you, but knowing that you are within striking distance of the leaders between both Austin Beers and Western Green both, right there on that outside lane, you're just hoping that you get that restart that you want. And any of the 3 times that it happened, they had the opportunity. Garcia's restarts were just on point every single time. As I mentioned, with that 15-car invert, that will send our P1 car back through the track. And now, like we saw last week with these cars that were so dominant at the front, having to fight their way through traffic now is going to be the name of the game, with another 37 laps ahead of us the Bite-Size Sports 100 at Darlington Raceway. This is where things will start to get interesting. We'll start to see some of these guys now knowing how these tires handle on an extended run. We saw about 20 laps go before the tires started to go. Another warm up here in between. Take a look at the results there of the first heat. Richard Garcia, of course, walking away with that one. Austin Beers, Ty McIntosh ends up P3, who, as mentioned, had some tough breaks last time we were at this track in the OSCA series. Ray Bracey putting up a P4. David Westerine, who was running top 5 for most of the end of that one, does end up in that 5th position. Ryan Gabble, who was running top 3, got a little sideways before that last restart and ends up in 6th. Drew Eisman, Vincent Isabella, Darren Stopp, and Tristan Millette rounding out our top 10. Dylan Thomas, James Watson, Jake Scarborough, Neil Rutt, Roberto Javier Gomera, Matt Hackathorn, Dustin Dewar, and Cameron Rich in P18. Unfortunately got collected in one of those accidents earlier on, got spun, wrong place, wrong time, fighting up there towards the top 15. Couldn't quite make that full recovery out of this one, so hoping to get a little bit better of a push here in the second half, but not too bad, all things considered, to make up 10 positions in a very quick sprint of 37 laps.
So I think we should make some picks here. Well,
I don't have to go first again, though, do I?
Oh no, thank God you don't. The driver's pick is actually first because they finished worst.
Okay.
So the drivers they want Austin Beers front, which understandably so.
Fair enough.
However, you do get next pick, Trevor.
Oh.
You're speaking to the mic, son.
I'm talking out to myself, trying to figure out which cars I've already picked and which ones I can't pick. I would like to take. I want the 7. Can I do the 7?
Yeah, you can do the 7.
Yeah, I want the 7. Give me Ray Bracey in this one.
Right on. I pick next. And I'm gonna go with somebody I wasn't really sure I wanted to pick, but I think I'm going to. I'm gonna go with the 13 car of Dylan Thomas. I have to.
I like that pick.
Carlos, you're up next.
All right. I have a feeling that Vincent Isabella's going to have himself a nice, strong showing here in half number 2.
There, right on. And Goody's going to double down. Goody wants Richard Garcia.
It ain't broke, don't fix it.
Back.
Garcia ran a pretty solid half there, almost half a second over Austin Beers. Has had quite the momentum between the last couple of races and just looking to continue that one through the second half out of this one. But as mentioned, we'll have to fight through traffic coming around into this second half, but I don't know why I picked the 7. I actually, on my list of the pecking order of drivers I want to pick, the 7's actually my number 4 on my list, and one right above him is Thomas in that 13, so I don't know why I just completely ignored my own list, but we'll see how that pays out for me. But I don't have a lot of confidence in my ability to read now. I make these lists for a reason, and I just completely ignore them.
Hey, listen, that happens, bud.
Do all this research, I spend all this time, moment under pressure, and I just completely break down.
That was me, I think, week number 2 when I made, I don't remember if it was my half one pick or my second half pick, where I had all these notes, and then it came my turn, and it caught me off guard, even though it shouldn't have. I'm like, give me this guy.
Yep, that's pretty
Practice
much.
is over. I'm going to be taking a look at our dash number 2 grid coming up here very shortly.
Yeah, with this 15-car invert, another 37 laps ahead of us. Similar track conditions that we're going to have in this one.
So nighttime apparently doesn't work.
Oh,
That's cool.
so
Oh, yeah,
also-
that's right. Race number 1 was in a day.
Yeah. By the way, it is 10:30 p.m. in sim time,
Oh.
and that's dark everywhere.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Running through
So
here.
awesome, iRacing. Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's what we pay him for. Looking through, we up to P5. There's Thomas in that 13th. Let there in P6 running that 29. Darren stopped the Mountain Dew 45 there, starting in 7th. Vincent Isabella on the out, looking in P8. Rounding out the top 10, we do have Eisenman and Ryan Gavel. They're trying to fight their way back up. Ryan Gavel was a top 3 car before losing it, but Western Green here is going to have to claw back up to that top 5 where he's running. Ray Bracey there starting in P12. Ty McIntosh P13. Austin Beers P14. And P15 is where we're going to finish our invert, where you'll see Richard Garcia come in. Now it'll be the rest of the cars behind him trying to tag along with these leaders. Nate Hackathorn here in P16 in that 04. Mr. Dewar in that 32, running P17. Cameron Rich in P18. Got to feel good if you're in that spot, knowing you are right behind those fast cars, trying to tag along with them. Conrad at 35, starting P19. Adam Peeler on the outside, running P20. Carpenter did get collected in one of the accidents. That P21 spot. 22nd will have Kenton. Made another pit there with Carpenter in this one. Capuano got sideways in the last one. Is going to be starting in 23rd. She Coles there in 24th. Ryan Jones, a victim of another accident alongside of Carlson, starting P25 and 26 respectively. Now a couple more cars that were
going
caught
green
up
here.
in some accidents in this one.
That's good.
Lights are off on the pace truck. Alex Myhan's going to be the one that wraps up the field in that 15, hoping for a better second half, as we're going to see the truck dip off the track. These cars make their way around, hoping these middle of the pack contenders are going to be able to hold on to the front side of this one as they come out of turn number 4, enter into our restart zone, waiting for the green flag to fly, and second half at Darlington Raceway is underway. Already looking middle of the pack to where these guys are going to be coming, where the leaders were running so fast, where these cars just in front of them are going to try to hold these guys off as long as they can. Starting to fan out a little bit here, but will eventually narrow it back down into this. So having to run too wide, 99 and 66, running high and low. A little dicey up here, but Roberto is going to be able to come up out of the corner off of 4 and slide up to take P1 on lap number 1 here of our second half. Neil Rutt there that did just lose that out, and now is side by side alongside Jake Scarborough in the 52. Now it'll be going low here, realizing Scarborough's got a little bit faster potentially.
Oh no!
Sideways back there. Tristan Millette here is able to hold on to it, keep the nose straight before getting diced back up into traffic. It's going to slow a few of these cars down. Good save there by Millette after losing all those positions and continuing to drop.
They did a fantastic job to save that vehicle. Held up a couple drivers, though, because they couldn't get out of the way once Millette had his car figured out. That hurt specifically the 57 Richard Garcia.
Yep. Richard Garcia counting his blessings there at that point. Thankful that that car did not go sideways and did not collect Garcia in the process. He's going to have to now get back up to speed, try to maneuver back through the traffic on this one. Taking a look back towards 20th-ish place. You see West Green right here. Trying to get themselves moving up through the field one more time. Let me take a little bit of action here. These guys getting real close to these walls on their approach. Still able to hold and maintain this one. Coming out side by side. Javier Gomera still holding on to this lead. Has built up 6/10 on Jake Scarborough. Dylan Thomas right there in 3rd place, but see the gap that's built up on this front side.
Oh!
Done a great job. Ooh, Neil Runt there. A little scrape on the wall coming out of the corner. Not the first time that's happened. It's the 13's going to dip low. Try to make this pass through the corner. It's going to be side by side. Might lose a little bit coming out, but we'll have the momentum. Maintain this door to door. He's losing some of that on the front, but coming up into this corner. Might try to find a way to break and get clear. Jake Sharmo's not going to give this position up easily.
Contact!
Ooh. Just got into the door there. Almost losing it, but is able to keep that one out. Does lose all that speed, though. All of a sudden, you see Watson taking advantage of this one, trying to get up in this position, trying to fight through. He's going to make that pass on to Neil Rutt. Darren Stop on board here, looking ahead. He's made some pretty good moves already at the start of this race to get back up to P6. Still watching the 99 drive away from the rest of the field as these guys 5th through 10th place fighting for position, less than half a second.
Oh, Vincent Isabella!
Ooh.
Not sure there was contact or if he got loose entering turn 3 and 4, but did a great job of sliding it and saving the vehicle without really losing too much time.
Yeah, Isabella has been a couple of times now we've seen that car getting a little bit sideways, but still able to hold on. This one is in P8, maintaining. Austin Beers there is right there in P9 now, continuing to move up as 57 was our leader. That is Richard Garcia in 13th right now. Looking to continue the advance through the field. Has not made a lot of progress as of yet after the restart. Coming up 10 laps through. Still holding back, fighting through traffic. And this is the difference between the cars in clean air versus the cars back there in the middle, fighting through. Cannot make a lot of really good passes. Very tough track. The drive even tougher to pass on. We're seeing that be the case. Ryan Gabble trying to find a way to dip low on Darren Stop, but not quite get the momentum just yet. We'll tuck back in. Guys checking up here, losing a lot.
Right now, Darren Staff is trying to get past the 66, but it's just losing too much time. Contact between Staff and the 66.
Yeah. 66 been off pace here quite a bit. Just cannot quite keep that car under control. Neil Rutt, and unfortunately, forces Darren Stop to check up. And he's going to lose positioning out of that one. So falling victim to unfortunate circumstance now. He's going to drop there out of the top 10. Or just inside the top 10 in P9 right there. After sitting riding up in 6th place. Already seeing cars getting loose. We're 11 laps in, give a little bit more credit out of this one, but these guys trying to make these passes with a through-wide TV multicam. Cars trying to make a lot of passes here. Someone on the front stretch, some coming through the corners. Varying levels of success, but watching that 57 right on the bumper. Hi McIntosh here, P11 and 12, continuing this on the bottom side. Looking for a little bit of action as well. Trying to ride this through. Jake Scarborough is trying to hold on to P2. That's James Watson trying to make this pass coming around. Doesn't have any help there on the bottom side. Is all up to the pure speed. That's still trying to find a lane. They're getting real close to each other, door to door in the corners. Sake's almost getting a little bit sideways as well. Both of them even getting ready to potentially lose some of their grip, lose some of their speed, and that's unfortunate. Watson going to be paying the price out of that one, losing the momentum. It's going to drop back 2-3 positions now. He's going to have to tuck back in line.
You have a look into the inside right now of the 6 of James Watson. And James, that outside line in general has been very strong for a lot of these drivers. It's just a question of how they can get off the corner, especially if you're trying to pass somebody, is how you can approach that exit of the corner to get such a significant drive off that you may even possibly clear the driver on entry of the next corner.
Guys, up close and personal here, all trying to find momentum, trying to get a little bit of air to help them make a pass. But these 4 continuing to battle for position here, looking for 2nd through 5th place. Is nowhere to be seen. Is the 99 somewhere out in the lead. Finally get a move on both sides. Both of them making a simultaneous pass here. Dylan Thomas and James Watson both.
Oh, no.
It's going to be the 52 of Scarborough up into the wall. It's going to be losing a lot of speed. And it's going to be dropping back at this point. Still side by side there with Watson. Coming down the front stretch. But Thomas is going to take full advantage of that one to try to open up a little bit. But the 6 and the 52 here door to door again. Can't quite make the clear. Scarborough's going to be able to hold on to P3. Ryan Gabble trying to dip on the bottom side. Going 3 wide almost into this one. Austin Beers here trying to make sure it doesn't get caught up in an incidental. That is Austin Beers there in P6, making the way back up. Trying to find a P5 position, not too far behind.
Oh.
Garcia and McIntosh still linked up 11th and 12th, but these guys right here, they're fighting for this top 5 positioning, and nobody's giving.
Oh, big checkup!
Oh, huge checkup there. Lost all the speed, and that is going to be Austin Beers taking full advantage of that situation and saying thank you very much, and off he goes. Scarborough had to dump everything. Now Austin Beers will come out the winner out of that exchange for sure. Ryan Gavel's going to tag along to the back bumper, but still got side by side here. Eisman, Scarborough next to each other.
Oh no, that's it.
Oh, there it goes. There, eventually it had to go. Scarborough.
No caution.
Matter of time before the wall pass.
Caution's out.
Before it bounced. There's the caution. That is Eisman getting collected in that one. Does hit the wall. Does go inside. A lot of damage out of this one. That'll collapse the field once again. Take a look at the replay.
That'll also bring everybody into pit road.
Yeah.
It's too much
matter of
exit
time.
corner speed. 77, unfortunately, couldn't do anything about that.
Nope. 52 just bounced right off the wall. Came right down to this. Take alongside us. When you see the 52 riding up, it's just trying to hold the speed. The contact is made. That's just how the physics are going to take you. Fortunate for Eisman, who will get collected in that. But as you mentioned, now all of a sudden with all these guys starting to collapse on, it stops potentially coming through out of this. We are just at the halfway point as we'll see all these guys coming down pit lane. It's the first time any of these guys have seen the back bumper of Gilberto Javier Gomera in a while. You got to be curious what the 99's thinking now.
Yeah, Gilberto Javier Gomera definitely did not want to see that caution at all, because if this race went green flag the rest of the way, he pretty much had that race won with however many laps were remaining, unless he made a huge mistake. So caution come out. Gilberto is not going to be happy about that. Let's see if maybe we can get a word with him after pit stops. We'll take a look at the replays first, see if we have time for that. But yeah, huge upset for what could have been a huge upset with Gilberto winning, and Vic choosing Gilberto a half too early. Kynan Jones stayed out.
That's an interesting business decision out of that. Again, looking for some sort of a rebound. Tough break there in the first half. You know, getting collected in a wreck. We know that they can make it on fuel. Just a matter of the tire preservation, and we've seen a lot of these cars at this point now losing that track. So curious for Kynan Jones. We'll take a look at the replay one more time. Jake Scarborough's been fighting this car tooth and nail for the last half dozen laps, trying to keep it off the wall, and unfortunately just that last time could not maintain, couldn't reel in the speed, bounces off and collects Drew Eisman, sends him into the bottom side. But that was after so much battling for position there around 5th through 8th place. You've seen Scarborough in unfortunate, we're just trapped on the outside, and you just something's got to give eventually, and eventually it does. Scarborough comes through Eisman, puts us under our first caution. 17 laps to go, and as you mentioned, the 73 Kynan Jones does stay out, but everybody else hits pit road, and that 99 who was so fast through that first 19th laps, quick math, is still in a position now. P2 going to be starting here, and we'll just see how well Kynan Jones can hold on.
Well, let's take a look and talk to Gilberto Javier Gomera. And Gilberto started first on this second half, and looks like you were possibly running away with it. What's your opinion going into this race now that we've had a caution?
I mean, probably exactly the same as always. I don't think Kynan came into the pit, so I'm anticipating some wheel spin. Hopefully I can get a good enough restart and jump him before turn 1, and if he can hold up at least the inside line, then it'll probably just be against me and Beers. But even if I don't get the win, I'm satisfied with how I've been performing. I wish it was caution-free, but I'll just take what I can get right now.
Do you think with that massive gap you had, if it did go caution-free, do you think you had this race easily won?
Oh, yeah. I think, like, Dylan was starting to catch up a little bit, but I think Beers was faster, and I think Beers would have caught him, and they probably would have slowed each other down. I think I had this race won if it stayed green, but it isn't always like that, and I just got to go out there and just prove to them that I can stay up front.
All right, thank you, Trevor. Quickly, any questions for him?
You get the restart you want on the inside line here. How are you feeling about the rest of this one, with knowing these leaders are on your back bumper?
I mean, I think the inside kind of worked a little bit, and if Kynan does spin his tires, then he'll probably go up into the wall, and he'll probably hold up Beers, who I think is my biggest opponent. So I'm hoping that happens, and then I can hopefully run away with it again.
All right, thank you so much. Best of luck out there. Oh, perfect, you moved it. All right, I was about to. All right, well,
90.
Trevor.
I got you, big dog.
Thank you, I appreciate that, Vic. Pace truck is out. Let's take it away.
Coming around number 4, Kynan, the only car on the outside who did not take any pit stop at all. We'll look for that wheel spin Gilberto mentioned. Austin Beers on the back bumper of Kynan as we go in, and the green flag has dropped. There is a little bit of spin out there, and that is going to be on the inside line. Kynan's actually going to get the jump, and Austin Beers will dive down in front. Gilberto could not get the restart wanted. We'll drop back to P5, looks like, coming out of this one. So unfortunate, but Austin Beers will take full advantage of this one. We got a car in the wall riding out there along the backstretch, but Austin Beers now, who had moved so diligently through the field, is now in P1. Kynan Jones fighting to stay off the wall here, coming through 3 and 4. Car's getting a little bit sideways back there as well, coming out of 4, but still able to hold straight. Now it's Austin Beers' race to run away with 14 laps to go, has 6/10 on P2. That is Darren Staff. Richard Garcia in 3rd place now is certainly going to be trying to gun back up to that P1 slot.
Yeah, that outside line on the restart had a fantastic restart initially here, including Beers, Darren Staff, Richard Garcia, and they're wrecking in the back. No caution so far. Number 6, Me Fine Machine, has some more damage out there.
A little bit unfortunate for Watson, get caught up one more time. He's not able to hold on to that, but is able to hold enough to keep the flag green for us. Beers, I'm sure, happy with that one, knowing that Richard Garcia is on the prowl here, trying to hunt down Darren Staff. 3Y TV multicam, we'll see this car through the middle of the pack. That is Watson trying to make up some lost ground now.
Oh, Kynan.
Passes. There's Kynan Jones completely off pace. Of course, falling victim to that, not having those tires, those fresh tires to rely on. That is unfortunately how you get caught up in that mess. You take a risk.
I just, oh, we have another driver all the way stuck on the outside wall. That may have been Peeler. Yeah, that's Peeler. A lot of drivers failing to, we talk about Darlington being an asymmetrical racetrack and how turns 3 and 4 is noticeably sharper than turns 1 and 2. But with this car, turns 1 is still very difficult, and we're seeing a lot more drivers smack onto the exit of the outside wall on turns 1, on turns 2, than we're seeing them on, hitting the outside wall on turns 4. Right now, I would dare say turns 2 is a more difficult corner for these drivers than anywhere else on the racetrack, and they're just catching them all unawares.
Yeah, you see 2 cars there getting collected up on the wall. That is Peeler being one of them, and just seemingly cannot get away from it. Kenton being the other one. That's 2 teammates there on Nurse Aviator Racing who can't quite find the lineup that they want, can't quite get their cars under control. You're not having the best of days for either one of them, as they're both looking 22nd, 23rd right now. Still churning laps out at the very least.
What a great recovery by Cameron Rich, who unfortunately had gotten collected in an accident on dash number 1 and started past the invert point on dash number 2. Currently top 5 in 4th place with 9 laps to go. He's looking to have a nice finish to dash number 2 for his first race of the season.
Should have just stuck to my guns. I should have just kept the 17. Didn't work out too great for me in that first half, so decided to flip it out. But you know what? That's my fault. I panicked once again, but that's okay. We take those and we learn. But Cameron Rich is doing a hell of a job here moving up through the field. Still has a lot of ground to make up on Richard Garcia coming through that and sitting in P3 right now. He's trying to run down Darren Staff in 2nd. Austin Beers, of course, did such a great job on that restart. Kynan Jones, who still had old tires, did get left in the dust with the rest of the field, but 4 tenths between first and second, another 5 between second and third. After that, it is Cameron Rich who's trying to run these guys down. Like doing a pretty okay job at trying to find some speed, but he's certainly losing it coming out of some of these corners.
Yeah, so far, I normally would have some graphics showing how the top 3 drivers are performing the last couple laps, but unfortunately, my main graphics are they're all just. I've essentially had to shut it down. As how bad it's not working right now. I don't quite know why, but we're running on redundancy power right now. But hey, listen, as long as we got something to commentate, that's all that really matters, and we have rudimentary standing graphic right now.
Yep, you still see the running order, you still see the cars on the track, and that's all that matters. We have 6
it's just
laps
not dulled
to go
up
here. Yeah. Richard Garcia is closing the gap there. Darren Stapp is only a 1/10 of a second. That's Garcia filling up that rear view mirror now of this Mountain Dew Code Red 45 machine. Garcia, who has done so well today, did so well last week, trying to continue this success, continue this momentum, going to try to find the angle to make this pass into second place, and then eyes set on P1 and Austin Beers, but still has some ground to make up with not a lot of laps left here. 5 to go. Coming around here, we'll tick down to 4. The time is running out for anyone trying to catch Austin Beers, especially Garcia getting held up in traffic right now, but everybody else pretty much single file, not a whole lot of action going on around. I'm not seeing too much. These guys now at this point looking and understanding where we're at in this race. It is about time to strike. If you got anything left in the tank, now is the time to try to find where you're faster, where you can make the move. You see Garcia does get a little bit under the bumper, is able to find something, try to get alongside. Stop here, 3 laps to go. He's going to try to find him. There is Stapp in the bottom right of your screen. Complete focus right now, trying to hold off this 57 here in the last couple of laps, but unfortunately does tag the wall there, loses the momentum. Garcia's going to go flying by now, but still a ton of time between him and Austin Beers up there. Beers right now just has to hold on, run the race as best he can to walk away with this one, and Garcia now into P2. Looking to hold off this one, but you see one by one, not a whole here. Next closest cars is going to be Vincent Isabella and Ryan Gabel. Maybe you can see Gabel try to make a pass. We saw those.
Oh, Cameron Rich in the wall.
Here out of this one, Rich is in the wall as well. A lot of distance between him and those two, Isabella and Gabel behind. Rich fortunate enough that just going to build this speed back up. 2 laps to go here, coming around out of turn number 4. White flag will be in the air, and Austin Beers with more than enough time here on Garcia, who is making up a little bit, but unfortunately too little too late. Barring some sort of horrendous accident, Austin Beers going into turn number 3, looking to take this one home. Such a great restart, such prime positioning. Our staff here is going to ride a wall. This one, Cameron Ridge trying to run him down at the very end of this one. Beers gets a little loose, but will cross the finish line, take the checkers. Austin Beers is your winner of the second half of the Bite Size Sports 100. Garcia could not do enough out of this one, but single file pretty much across the board. Things start to get a little bit more exciting towards the back of the pack. But what a hell of a run by that 19.
Fantastic drive by Austin Beers. Got a phenomenal restart. Second driver on the outside line and was able to quickly clear Kynan Jones' ailing machine to the lead and just never looked back.
Didn't look back after that one. Will collect the checker. Will take the victory burnout here on the front stretch here. Start-finish line, Darlington Raceway. Track too tough to tame, but Beers has found a way to get it under control and is going to be walking away with the winner, with the victory out of this one. It's going to be very good for the points. And top of my head, I think, was actually in a really good position. I think top 5 in point standings going into this one. I know everything's broken on the graphical side, so won't be able to confirm that one outright. But still, a great showing from Austin Beers, and going into next week, I wouldn't be surprised to see that windshield go from a black stripe to a red one.
Well, we're going to see if we can... unfortunately, my graphics are all messed up. I may not have a race results to show. I'm trying to see if maybe this one thing I have will work. but this is not set up to just to work or anything. This is something that I had not worked on, and it looks like it's not working.
Well, you never plan on things breaking, but
That's true.
it's one of those things. It is what it is. We'll figure out exactly what the implications are of everyone's finish out of this one once we do get after the fact. But still looking at this 19 bright blue, as you mentioned, on that restart towards the end of that one. Kynan Jones took the gamble to try to stay out, but it was very clear, very evident that the fresh tires were going to be the ones that really made the difference, as those guys just completely ran away with that one and just had really no concern whatsoever about having to deal with the slower tires of Kynan Jones. And at that point, it was just a race for that one. Garcia, as we mentioned, was making up a ton of ground coming out of that towards the last 5 laps, but unfortunately, just too little too late here. Not enough time on these sprints. Only 37 laps for each one of them. And Austin Beers walks away with it, but Garcia second. And at 45, got a little dicey there, just like we saw Cameron Rich getting a little sideways. A lot of these cars getting loose, getting squirrely coming out of these corners, but still able to hold on and at least pull out a solid finish.
Well, let's go talk to that driver you just mentioned, Darren Staff. 3rd place finisher, first time this season we get to interview with legendary Staff, Darren Staff. Darren, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Well, this is a bit biased considering I'm the team owner, but you ran yourself a pretty decent race. There you are in the in-car camera, or excuse me, in the webcam. Why don't you talk to us about how that second dash went for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think what summed it up the most was in half 2, or like the start of it. I was really struggling that first half, and even though I got a top 10 out of it, I didn't feel that great about it. It wasn't the best run. And then I got a simple tip that completely changed the entire second half for me. Is that I wasn't paying attention with how much I was turning my wheel. Therefore, my tires were getting more scuffed. And after I had fixed it and I had more focused on my tires, that second half, first run went as smooth as it could have. And I tried to apply the same logic and put a little bit of pressure on Beers, but I got in, I think, 4/10. I was telling him. Got in, I think, 4/10 and couldn't bring it back. But at the end of the day, I think I learned a lot down here in Darlington, and I think I'm going to be taking it into the rest of the season.
Yeah, you had a strong start of the season compared to, last season went, unfortunately. But this time by, how do you feel this early success is helping you prepare for this possible playoff run you have going on?
I mean, yeah, it was just like I'm talking about. Entering this season and just kind of a goal to myself. I needed to learn to be better on these longer runs. I've always considered myself a short run guy, and being able to do that well on a long run, it felt really good, and I want to continue that. And I think if we figure out long run cars heading into the season, or like just throughout, I think it's going to help improve our finishes, and it's going to get the results that I feel I more deserve. Because to me, I didn't feel like I was getting the results that I personally wanted and felt I could have gotten.
Oh, thank you. Trevor, do you have anything you want to ask 3rd place finisher Darren Staff?
It's gonna be a combination question, but for both you and Darren. You said going into this one, you had one driver who was not about it, one driver was pretty open-minded, and the other one was, yeah, all right. Which one was he?
I'm gonna have to repeat that because that did not flow in my head there. That went in and out.
No, in the initial broadcast, he had asked me, what knowledge I was getting about the approach from some of the drivers since he saw me in the voice chat. He thought I was flipping through different teams, but I was just talking to my drivers. And I told him I'm not going to go into details, but one of my drivers is open-minded into this racetrack. Another driver doesn't want to be here, and a third driver is kind of just keeping to himself, focusing on the race. And he asked you which of those 3 drivers were you?
I was kind of the open-minded guy.
Okay.
I knew I had potential heading into this after the practice session, which, congrats to iRacing, they continued to mess up, and we were racing at quote-unquote 9:15.
Yeah, that was weird.
It was not 9:15. It looked like 12 in the afternoon. But I knew I had potential after the practice sessions on Tuesday, and so I came in here with an open mind and knew I could get a better finish if I just put the results in, and I did. So.
Trevor, anything else?
Mine got you a top 3 finish, so cannot complain about that one. Where are you at mentally? Looking forward to a tough track we had this week. We got another tough one next week. What are you looking forward to over at Dover?
I've had mixed results at Dover. I've had good and bad finishes in Dover, so probably the same thing. We'll see how Tuesday night goes in the practice sessions, and if I feel good, then same thing. I'll head into Dover with an open mind and hope for the best.
All right, Trevor. Are you good? Anything else?
That's all I got.
All right. Oh, Darren, before we let you go, you got any shout-outs you want to give out?
Yeah, just Tristan, my teammate, just being there for all the moral support and helping me get through this race with simple common knowledge fact of how to save tire. And just of course Carlos, for you, the broadcasting, and for allowing me to drive for your team, and hope that we can continue the streak of good results.
Yes, 2 straight top 10s for you, Darren. Actually, one last thing for you before I let you go. When are you going to cut that hair?
I've been thinking about it, and it will probably be tomorrow, honestly. it will probably be tomorrow.
All right, well, thank you so much, Darren. Congratulations on that 3rd place finish, and good luck next week.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
All right, Trevor, I'm going to let you go ahead and take over 2nd place interview with Richard Garcia.
Richard Garcia on board with us now. Richard, you got us here?
I got you. Do you got me?
We got you loud and clear. P2 on the finish, but that was a very fast car you had. Obviously did very well, I would say, in that first half. Fast car, half 2. What was the difference that couldn't quite get you back up to that P1?
Austin just got through the traffic much faster than I could. Yeah, that was about it. Tire strategy was tire strategy, but he just got through it. And once he got through it, it was just trying to catch up to him, and trying to get past Darren was more difficult than I wanted it to be. But, it's Darren's job to make things difficult for others.
Did that well enough to keep you back and in a position where you were in 2nd place. We did see, though, in that first half, more yellow flags, but your restarts every single time just shot you out of a cannon in front of everybody else in the field. What was the difference between your car on those restarts than the rest of the field?
Not having to anticipate the start and being able to control it and figure out where I want to go and switch it up every single time. So it's not the same. I know Austin, I think on that first one we did, Austin tried to get a jump, and you just kind of wait until he does that. And then the moment you see him jump and stop, you slam the gas because he's got a reaction time to that. So, but yeah, it was a good restarts on that first half. Yeah. Sorry, I'm kind of out of it right now.
Oh, you're good. I mean, you had quite the exhausting pair of sprints between the two of you. You mentioned Beers obviously moving through traffic a little bit better to get out front first. What was the most challenging portion of navigating through traffic after the invert?
They got bunched up really bad right before Eisenman got murked, and right there, trying to wade your way through that, or weave, I guess would be a better term. Weave your way through that. That was really hard. But you kind of have to wait until people start banging down the wall off of turn 2, and then you know you can actually make up time, and you know those tire saving actually makes a difference at that point.
Yeah, tires the name of the game for sure. Saw a lot of guys getting loose out there. Did you ever have any issues with that where your tires felt like they were getting away from you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Those last couple laps of the first half, it was just like praying that I could keep it together and keep Austin behind me. The second, I was kind of went into the second half with an idea of that I just need to maintain what I have, knowing that there's going to be fall off in front of me. And right before that caution in the second half, it started to get a little slidey on me, but that caution helped me out. Got some new fresh tires on the Repsol Ford Mustang, and drove our way up to P2.
My last question before I pass you off to Carlos here. Next week, just as challenging of a track as we've seen, Dover coming up at you. How are you feeling going into that one?
I like Dover. I'm excited for it. I like Darlington more, but Dover is probably right up there, right after Darlington. Another track you got to save tires. The cement eats it up, and Monster's not afraid to ruin your day.
Carlos?
Miles the Monster. Sorry.
We saw how difficult it was to make passes on everybody. I feel like the best way to make a pass was to just stay behind the driver and watch them mess up. Specifically, turns 1 and 2. What was the most difficult part of this track, and why were so many drivers, do you think, making so many mistakes exiting the corners?
The most difficult part of the track for me was actually 3 and 4. I just couldn't figure out a good entry point, liftoff point. As far as why other drivers were struggling so much, they just overdrive. It's as simple as that. They're just driving it down in the corner, and just kills the tires.
And well, from this racetrack, we're now going over to Dover Downs next week. What's your approach for that one?
Oh, I can't say too much, Carlos. They're gonna give away the secret. My goal for my prep for Dover, excuse me. I don't know. Just try different lines, see what works.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Do you have any shout outs you want to give us to us?
I think shout out to my dog who's over here sleeping somewhere, ready to go outside to go to the bathroom. And Eisentech Enterprises. I think those are the only ones. Oh, if Morkel's watching, hello, Morkel.
All right, thank you so much. Congratulations on your second place finish. I'm gonna go ahead and wish you best of luck for next week.
Thanks, guys, and I plan to see you again, so keep the seat warm.
All right.
All right, Trevor, I'm gonna bring up race winner Austin Beers. I'm gonna let you handle this interview yourself. I got something I gotta take care of here myself.
All right. Gonna go fix the graphics hopefully once more, but we are joined alongside the race winner out of the second half, Austin Beers. The bright blue 19 car was very dangerously fast, as we saw quite the lead that you expanded there on the second half. What made your car so much faster than everybody else in that second half?
I don't know. I feel like this is a track where you can really attack, where you need to pass people, and it's tough to pass. And fortunately, I was able to find those spots and get lucky with some runs. I think I made 2 3-car passes in this race, so that was pretty cool to make those passes. And I don't know, this track, you're somewhat aggressive, but somewhat you got to take care of it, and I think that plays right into my driving style. So just try to be as smooth as possible on a track that's very attack worthy.
A difficult track to drive, certainly just as difficult to pass cars. We saw you moving through traffic pretty well. Was that the solution that you had in order to get back up into a top 3 position to hopefully run for the lead? Were you just biting big chunks of cars off at a time, or would you rather have been passing one by one through these corners?
I would have rather been one by one. It's a lot less scary. I mean, it's a lot more cool to do 3 cars at once, but I kind of knew that I had to beat Richard to the front. I felt like that would have to be the win right there. He was really fast tonight. This is the second time that I've won where the guy that won in the first half finished second to me in the second half. So you know, Richard was fast and just had to bide my time, you know, go for the spots when I could. And once you get the momentum on the guys, you have to take it, or else it takes 3 to 4 laps to get it back going. That's why it's such a struggle on restarts, especially in that first half, because I was kind of tracking down Richard at the end before the last yellow came out. Probably would have got there. It would have been really tough to pass, but then that yellow came out, and he just had a better restart, obviously. But no, it was definitely fun, exciting. Shout out to Vic for not having us race in the dark somehow, even though it's 10:30 over here. But no, it was definitely another fun race, and I'm really excited for next week at Dover, where I actually got my first OSCA / Cloud9 win. So excited to head back there.
Just out here answering every single question I have before I even ask it. Out of my head. At least I'd ask you to expand a little bit on some of those restarts we saw in the first half, because Richard Garcia said that it was just kind of you jumping the gun, and then after that you had to check up. That's when he would take off. Was that what it was? Were you trying to time those restarts, or what was it that couldn't quite keep you up there with him?
I felt like that was my only shot, is to try to figure out right when he was going to go, or else he's a half a second ahead of me. And it's really tough to track a guy down like that who's ready really fast and has a track position. So I think I felt like that was my only opportunities. It's good to know that he said that he's waiting for me to jump, because I'll never do that again, and I'll wait for him to go. So nah, it's not your fault. I'm just, I probably would have figured it out, but you know, I've never really raced Richard. I don't think I've ever raced with him actually before this year. So, you know, it's one of those things where you got to learn what the guy's gonna do and how he races. So yeah, just learning, keeping that in the memory bank, and we'll go on to Dover and hopefully improve on that.
To close this race out, were you counting your blessings that there was a single-digit amount of laps to go when Richard did move into second place? Was there any concern at all that he was going to be able to catch up to you?
I knew he'd be fast, but once I got the lead, I kind of strung out a lead a little bit, and then I started to save, and then I got to 0.4 with Darren back there, and I saw that Richard was starting to gain in, so I started to go and got a pretty big lead right there. Just figured if I had the gap, I'd be pretty good for the rest of the race, and then if there was a restart, I felt like I had a big advantage. So just try to keep the tires underneath it in case there was a restart, and also so I wouldn't back up to him in that long run.
Well, yeah, pretty good run to get first place. I guess no complaints about that one. What's your mentality going in for Dover? Obviously, another challenging track. Anything special that sticks out to you about that?
No, I'm excited actually to hopefully have green flag pit stops to see who hits the sand barrels. I'm really excited to see what goes on there, and I love attacking pit road like that, and that's a track that's very tricky to get on, pit road. So hopefully we get a green flag run where we have to pit under green, because I'll be very excited for that. Plus, I like Dover. It's kind of multi-groove. You can pass there pretty easily, so definitely a fun track. Hopefully to be coming through the field in the second half, and hopefully have a good run in the first half.
Carlos, you got anything you want to tack on here?
Carlos never has questions for me. Never.
Is that a personal thing? Is it a personal choice?
I don't know.
Beers, my question is, why couldn't you perform like this when I picked you in half one?
I'm a second half kind of guy.
I also have a question.
I have a joke that I can't say now.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, and that's why I was.
Oh god, not the blinky light thing all over again.
Oh no,
I know. No. So, Beers, with you now having a 24-point lead after tonight, does that change your approach for next week?
No, you know me. I'm
I
kind of.
I was trying to let you be modest, you know.
I'm trying to be what's it called, PG right here. I'm beep to the wall all the time. So.
You can say whatever you want here.
I could say balls to the wall. Hell yeah, I'm balls to the wall most of the time. I've started to slow up in my older age now. Race a little smarter. I don't think anybody's pissed off at me so far this year, and that is a new thing for me. So I'm really happy. People actually congratulated me after I won. So this is something that's crazy to me. Just gotta keep doing what we're doing. I haven't finished outside the top 3. Actually, I've had first and second on all of the mile and a half so far. I know it's only been 2, but just got to be consistent. really happy to finally be running a full season on OSCA. That's cool. So just got to keep doing what we're doing. My team, Do Good Motorsports, does a great job keeping me sane when all the yellows come out and I get pissed off. So they do a good job, and I'm happy to run with those guys.
Well, Austin, another W underneath your belt here. Congratulations on that one. You got any shout-outs you want to make here? Obviously, you just gave your team a shout-out.
Yep. I'll say their names, too. We got Dustin, Neil, and Dave, great teammates to have. Tom and Matt Hackathorn come in every now and then as well. But I'd also like to thank Hacks Discord, Troy Race Cars, Fenceline Films, Thomas Capuano on YouTube. Check them out. BFP, and the Shark Lounge. Oh, and LaJoy Seating. There we go. I got them all.
Oh, in. Okay. Oh, in. Oh, in. Well, Austin Beers walking away in P1 here at the Lady in Black.
Oh, you guys too.
Tame.
I forgot to. You guys do a
There's
great
always
job.
one more.
I was about
Vic
to
for putting
uninvite
up
you
with
for my
us
party.
Man.
Vic for putting up with us idiots. I always say that.
Yeah.
That's my tradition.
Are you done for real now?
I'm done for real. Thanks.
All right. There he goes across the checkered line, collecting the checkered flag. Austin Beers, as you heard, now going to be our points leader next week as well. Going to have to change that black banner to a red one as we are taking off to the Monster Mile Dover next weekend. Of course, for Carlos Acosta, Vic Bloom, and myself, Trevor McNeil, thank you all for watching us. Is that the conclusion to the Bite Size Sports 100? We'll see you next week.